Sheriff Joe, let's talk Matthew Stafford, okay? There's the stupid trade rumors that I feel like have died off, but realistically, do you think that Matthew Stafford could be poised for a career year for him? And, throwing 41 touchdown passes, with the Rams, his first year with us. Last year, there were the injury concerns, the concussion concerns, the spinal contusions. McVay has said he's as healthy as he's ever been. In fact, he's healthier now than when he first got to the Rams. Do you think that this offense is poised for, becoming a top 10, top 5 offense again?
I absolutely do. There's a few different things that go into that. And one of the things that I look at is the injuries that the Rams had last year. And obviously, I didn't like those injuries. If I could go back, I wouldn't redo these injuries. And it sucked throughout the whole year. We only win 5 games because we're super beat up. It started with Logan Bruss in preseason, and then it just kind of completely fell apart from there, And so what I'll say about that is we can't change anything about that. So here on April 16th, as we look forward into the draft in this next year, is that now these guys haven't played in a while. They're fresh. And that's not just Matthew Stafford. That's Cooper Kupp. That's a bunch of offensive linemen like Tremaine Ankrum, who's out there working out already and stuff like that. There's we did lose some guys, but like Nopum. And then also on the defensive side, we got, like guys like Jordan Fuller now are going to be back that probably could have been back, but just didn't. And then now, though, they're probably the freshest they've been in years entering this next season. So as much as I would not redo any of that stuff, we can't change what had happened back then. So from this perspective, on this day, looking forward, it's actually kind of a benefit that so many guys didn't finish the season last year, because right now they're more healthy than they would have been if we would have had them come back. So I think for that reason, like a guy like Matthew Stafford, who, I mean, once Baker Mayfield comes in, it's kind of like, all right, well, we're just kind of doing stuff now. It's like we're surviving this season. Once Baker Mayfield came in, that's kind of how I felt about it. And it was like, we're going to give him a flyer and give him a chance to put on some tape, and we'll see what happens. And it worked out for a couple of games, obviously.
37 rushing yards.
Yeah, it worked out. Like the Raiders game was wildly entertaining. Being a Colorado-based Rams fan, that game on Christmas Day against the Broncos was absolutely incredible too. So it gave us a few cool stories. But for Matthew Stafford, man, I really do think that he's in a good spot right now, especially the way just the emotions are from last year. Everybody in that locker room, and I think that people who are close to the team in a sense of like really paying attention to everything that happens, guys like, me and you, like we're laser focused in on everything. We sign a long snapper, we're going to talk about it,
Yeah.
So but it's like that, like I feel like we are looking at it from a perspective of like just the emotion is like, that was not who we are. This year should be different, and I think it will be. And I think Matthew Stafford is in a good spot to have an awesome season. Cooper Kupp can stay healthy. That connection is unbelievable, and people have already forgotten about it, man. People, both those guys get hurt for just like half a year, and then the entire NFL landscape is like, so Jefferson's the best, or like all these other guys, like, well, I don't know. So,
well, yeah. and like I'll say that one of the reasons I think that Matthew Stafford is ready for a great year is I believe in his wide receiving core. I know that Cooper Kupp, any Rams fans will say like, we love Cooper Kupp. Him healthy is going to help Matthew Stafford. Van Jefferson, it's an important year for his NFL career, and he's someone who was injured a large chunk of last year, but he has been reliable and had a role in this offense before. And I think at times it kind of got lost last year just because of the quarterback play that we were experiencing. I think that Tutu Atwell and Ben Skoranek, year 3 for them, very, very important year. It's not unprecedented for year 3 of a receiver to kind of take that leap forward. I know that there's been criticisms on both those players for different reasons, but I think there's reason to believe that they're maybe ready to, elevate their game to a new level. And ultimately, I think if we can have, a variety of playmakers at the wide receiver positions in this offense, Well, we've seen it with OBJ and Cooper Kupp, in there at the same time with Van Jefferson kind of as that third wide receiver and Higbee in the tight end slot. This is a dangerous offense, right? And I think that when Ben Skoranek is on, and if Tutu can, continue to work on that deep ball and bring a couple more elements to his route running, make it a little more crisp, a little more polished, I think this could be an offense that takes people by surprise.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, man. You're right. This is like I think, I don't know if I have like necessarily a lot of confidence in a jump from guys like Tutu or Skoranek, but I think Skoranek's overall a better player right now. But also, who knows? Like I said, it's literally April 16th. What if Tutu and Benny Sko, the Sko plow, what if they're out there right now just absolutely just working, man? Like, what if they come in this next year and it's a total breakout season and these guys are just superstars from here on out? You never know, who's going to take that leap from one year to the next. So I'm really excited. And a name that is obviously getting left off, I think for good reason, is Allen Robinson, and just his first season in this offense. And also it was a season where everything kind of fell apart. So we don't actually know what he can bring to this offense. So maybe this is a good year for him. Maybe he kind of jumps out. I'm excited about Van Jefferson. If I had to pick a guy who I think is going to really break out, I would say him. And then there was a comment about Lance McCutcheon. I don't dislike Kutch at all, but there is so much more I need to see from Kutch outside of just some pretty impressive preseason play. I need to see it in real settings and stuff like that before I'm fully on the Lance McCutcheon train. But a kid looks like he can do it, but we just got to see it actually out there when live bullets are flying.
And it's always exciting when you have someone who was undrafted, who has the physical traits that McCutcheon has. And I don't know, as a fan, those are players you like to cheer for and you hope for it. I've heard Lance McCutcheon compared career-wise to Miles Austin for the Cowboys, who did really well. And body-wise, there's some similar traits there. And if Lance McCutcheon could develop into a Miles Austin, that's a win for the Rams.
It absolutely is.